So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the incomplete tzaddik's relationship with evil. Great, so now we understand that the complete tzaddik utterly detests evil because he loves God so much and therefore is going to hate anything that disconnects him from God. But what about the incomplete tzaddik? Since he does not utterly detest the sitra achra, he's therefore not completely repulsed by it either. As long as the loathing and repulsion is not absolute, there must necessarily remain a trace of love of evil and pleasure in the sitra achra, in the side of otherness. Meaning that the soiled garments, aka his attachments to physical pleasures, have not been completely and thoroughly discarded. Meaning, because of this tzaddik's love is not complete with God, right? They're the incomplete tzaddik. There's a level of love that's lacking. Therefore, their detest for anything that's going to separate this, deep loving connection isn't complete. And because they're not completely repulsed by it, they don't have the full sensitivity. They still have some attachment to the soiled garments, no matter even it's incredibly minute, right? We're talking about someone, they're the tzaddik, but just it's not complete, that is level. So because these soiled garments, these attachments to the mundane pleasures have not been completely discarded. So this doesn't mean that an incomplete tzaddik is going to involve themselves in mundane pleasures. No, in which case they would not be the complete tzaddik. They have no trace of this evil. They don't sense it in any part of their being. That being said, they're not completely sensitized to the point that they find evil repulsive or that they want to just be as far away from it as possible because of this deep love for God that they have. Because on some immediate level, he's still emotionally attached to the soiled garments, self-indulgent pleasures. Therefore, his love of God lacks its full intensity. And that's why we're calling him the incomplete tzaddik, because on that level, his love isn't complete. Like an addict who has shifted their behaviors so that they no longer sense any level of addiction. Yet they're not yet at a place where they have sensitized themselves to be disgusted by it. Therefore, there's a level of transformation that cannot yet happen. So there's the idea of sur meira, stay away from evil, and then aseh tov, do good. So it's not just staying away from evil. There's a level where that evil actually turns into the goodness. So where I can actually now take that evil and do something good with it. So there's a difference between just distancing myself from it versus actually going back and transforming the thing into something purposeful and beautiful and for God's sake. Because the filthy garments, aka their emotional attachment to worldly pleasures, have not been completely shed, the evil cannot be transformed to good. As long as they still have some attachment to the evil, they're not ready to transform that evil into pure good. So this type of tzaddik gets two names. A tzaddik who it's good for him. Sorry, we're continuing our conversation. We just kind of sidetracked for a moment, talked about the incomplete tzaddik, but ultimately... so it's tzaddik who it's good for him, a tzaddik whose evil is subjugated and surrendered to the good within him. And then there's the incomplete tzaddik. His love of God isn't complete yet. The incomplete tzaddik has two names. The tzaddik viralo, that knows evil, but really if you look at it carefully, the ra is low. The ra is nullified, the evil is nullified to him, to the goodness within him. Meaning, the evil within him is nullified to the good in him, to such a point that he doesn't even experience it. And the other idea is the incomplete tzaddik. His love of God isn't yet complete, and therefore he doesn't utterly detest evil. You get a variety pack when it comes to the incomplete tzaddik. Right? The evil within them are nullified to different degrees. It's not just one type of incomplete tzaddik. So meaning the amount of good that the evil is nullified within them could be whether in 60 times or 1,000 times or 10,000 times. So each one is going to be more and more of a refined individual, but none of them are actually sensing the evil within them. It's just a matter to how nullified the evil is to their good within them. These various levels in the ranks of the incomplete tzaddik are the levels of the numerous tzaddikim found in all generations, all of whom belong to the category of the incomplete tzaddik, right? It's an exclusive club here. As we find in the Gemara, 18,000 tzaddikim stand before the Holy One, blessed be He. So meaning there are more of these types of tzaddikim than there are the tzaddik gam, or the complete tzaddik that we're going to talk about. And so the idea is that so in every generation, we should make sure that we have tzaddikim. The tzaddikim are the sod olam. We need them in every generation. And there's going to be a wide variety of just how nullified that evil is to the good within them. But concerning the rank of the complete tzaddik, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's statement applies. I have seen superior men, b'nei aliyah, keyword here, and they are but few. Complete tzaddikim are called b'nei aliyah, men of ascent. And why is this? So they convert evil and make it ascend to holiness. So now we're talking about a very rare, unique individual, the b'nei aliyah. It is similarly written in the introduction to the Zohar that when Reb Chaya wished to ascend to the Heichal, heavenly shrine of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he heard a voice come in and say, "Whichever of you before coming here have converted the darkness of the world to light and transformed the bitter taste of their animal soul and evil inclination to sweetness, only these may enter." Meaning this is only for the complete tzaddik, someone who has gone to the level of transformation of actually turning the evil within the left part of their soul to good. Meaning the incomplete tzaddik cannot tap into this level. Yes, the good far outweighs the evil. The evil is so nullified in the incomplete tzaddik they don't even feel anymore. But it's not comparable to the level of the complete tzaddik who actually has reached this level of hasapcha, of transformation, where the good where there's now only good, the evil is actually being turned into good itself. And just to give like a taste of this and an example that we can appreciate in our own life here, it's just like there's the idea of like you get over something. So I'm over it, but it's still, there's still a vestige of it. Versus I actually take that experience and transform it to the place that I only see good in that experience. So the level of, I'm over it, and it doesn't bother me anymore. And then there's a level of actual transformation. So Bnei Aliyah are people of transformation.